her good night and said that he would see her tomorrow. But the Crown Prince would not keep his promise. He dressed in combat uniform and selected 5 weapons from the personal armory he kept in his bedroom. An M16 automatic rifle capable of firing 700 bullets a minute, an automatic submachine gun capable of firing 900 bullets a minute, 2 pistols, and 1 12-bore single-barrel shotgun. When Dipendra was 5 years old, the family celebrated the arrival of his baby sister, Princess Shruti. As heir to the throne, the Crown Prince would receive special treatment. He was always set apart from his sister and his younger brother, Prince Nirajan. The king, a would-be modernizer, wanted his son to be educated outside the confines of the palace walls. Dipendra was sent to an English-style boarding school in the Kathmandu Valley. It was a different world from the cloistered palace. For the first time in his life, the young autocrat came into contact with his subjects. Initially, he seemed stunned. But the young prince's self-confidence returned when he began to excel at sports. In his coronation speech, King Birendra had spoken of his wish to begin a new era for the creation of a just, dynamic, democratic society. He hoped that his son's Western-style education would help mold a modern monarchy to lead a modern country. But it was impossible for his classmates to see the Crown Prince as just another drummer in the band, as Dipendra himself always knew. Despite his father's aims, the young prince grew up in a feudal world, where the army shored up the power of an absolute monarchy. Even Dipendra's karate instructor deferred to him.
In his schooling days, people were very aware that this is the future king. And that would include teachers and playmates also. He was very competitive, and yet nobody would really compete with him in Nepal.
In 1987, Dipendra was sent to Eton, where it was hoped that he would acquire the polish of an English gentleman.
He was quite rough, really. He wasn't clever with words like most boys were. You know, most boys sort of, it was cool to be a little sharp with your wit, and he wasn't sharp-witted. Maybe he wanted more of the boys to like him, but he didn't have that luxury at school and became more sort of marginalized socially as time went on at school.
In his first week, perhaps trying to impress, the half-god, half-Etonian unwisely accepted a challenge.
He'd always talked about how much he drank back in Nepal, how much he loved brandy and would drink brandy, and brandy was the drink of choice. And so one day one of the boys asked him to go get some brandy.
A fellow Etonian sold the story. For the Crown Prince, it was a lesson on the attitude of the modern world to monarchy. From that moment on, Dipendra learnt to give nothing away.
He did bottle up his anger over particular situations and then did let loose fairly fiery on 1 or 2 occasions. I only witnessed it really in the context of karate matches where something had gone wrong and we'd lost or not done as well as we might. He waited until the next week to tell people what they'd done wrong in no uncertain terms.
One day, you know, he asked me to come and see him perform karate. He won his match. But I thought, you see, looking at him, that it was so risky, you know, with the legs flying all over and you could hit your eyes. And, you know, if you get a full shot of your leg in your eye, you might be blinded. So after the thing, I said, well, this is a risky game, absolutely. And I think I should write to your father. And he said, my God, this is one thing I like, and you're going to tell my father. So thank you. He said, thank you, you know.
At 8:30 p.m. on June the 1st, 2001, King Birendra was the last to arrive at the family party.
His Majesty had been served a drink, which was a Coke I could make out from the glass.
Protocol dictated that all royal relatives had to ask permission to drink in the presence of the king.
Okay. When he says, okay, go ahead, and then we do cheers, and His Majesty also takes, and we also take, and this is how it is done. Then suddenly I hear, behind my back, footsteps.
It was my sister who was with me, and I said to her, isn't he getting a bit too old to dress up like this? And she agreed with me, and so we were watching him go towards his father. And I thought he was coming to show his father the guns. And so did the king. He took a step forward because he thought his son wanted to show him something. And he just lifted the gun and shot him.
Now I started looking at His Majesty because I was already talking to him. He looked all right for a second. Then I see him sliding on the right side, while standing, just leaning towards the right side. And while this was happening, I saw streaks of blood on the right shoulder.
It just seemed so shocking for everyone in the room. Something which is not conceivable. There was some screaming initially, but after that everyone was just looking around, looking at His Majesty, I guess. I mean, nobody actually, you know, had the presence of mind to do anything other than that.
In 1989, the young prince visited Stoner Park, the home of his English guardian. It was here that he was introduced to a girl who would change the course of his life and the history of his country. Her name was Devyani Rana. She was from a clan whose rivalry with members of the royal house of Nepal went back generations.
She's a very bright, intelligent, somewhat headstrong girl with a mind of her own. She's not one of those traditional sort of girls who prepare to just sit and do what the parents or anybody else wants them to do.
I remember Dippy telling me that he had fallen in love with her, you know, then. He told me many times that, you know, she's sort of perfect. And I would love to spend, you know, time with her and spend my life with her. He was very keen to marry her for that reason, because and want her to be his wife and to be the queen perhaps one day.
But Nepal already had a queen, and she was making her own shortlist of suitable girls for her son. As far as the queen was concerned, that choice was hers and hers alone. In January 1990, the Queen guided the young Etonian through a series of ancient Hindu ceremonies that would prepare him for adulthood and marriage, before a bride had even been chosen. It was an opportunity for Nepal's ruling family to display their wealth and power. But to Prince Dipendra's alarm, this royal world of ritual and